In this video, I'm gonna give you my honest review about the Tamron 70-180 f2.8 lens with some sample footage. How's it going? My name is Jussi and this channel is all about filmmaking tips and tutorials and camera gear. Today I'm gonna give you my review about the Tamron 70-180 f2.8 lens, and I'm gonna give you my pros and the cons of the lens in my opinion, and I'm gonna talk about is it a good budget option compared to the Sony competitors. Now unfortunately I don't have the lens in my possession anymore, but I do want to share all of my information about the lens with you. First I want to say, just like with the Samyang 75mm f1.8, I was just as skeptical about the Tamron lens because I wasn't fully convinced that Tamron could actually make such a high quality lenses with that cheaper price point. But the first thing that actually surprised me was that it's actually got a really good build quality even though it's made from plastic, and it's also got this weather sealing which is really nice. And it's also got this same 67mm filter size as with all of the Tamron Sony FE lenses, which is really nice because you don't have to buy several different ND filters or fiddle around with these step-up rings to fit it to all of the lenses. We also made these autofocus tests where my girlfriend was walking towards the camera and the autofocus worked very well. I mean, there was no problem with the autofocus tracking her face. Even after we zoomed in the lens all the way to 180mm, the autofocus kept working just fine. We also did this autofocus test where my girlfriend Tia walks from the side into the frame and spins around and then walks out of the frame, and the autofocus worked just fine and it was very responsive and very accurate. But then when we zoomed in the lens all the way to 180mm and did the same autofocus test, the autofocus was a little bit slow, but that was probably because it was so tight, the focal length, and because she was so close to the camera. So that's why probably it took a while for the camera to register her face. But other than that, then the autofocus works really well. With most of the footage that we filmed, honestly, if I would have not known that it was filmed with the Tamron, I would have probably guessed that it was filmed with something more expensive like the G Master lenses, because the image was so sharp. The lens also has this dedicated switch for locking the zoom so that you won't accidentally change the focal length. We also did the autofocus test with the Sony A6500, which is a crop sensor APS-C camera. Now for those of you who don't know what's the difference between a crop sensor and a full frame camera, it basically means that because the Sony A6500 has a 1.5 times crop, that makes this Tamron lens an equivalent to 105 to 270mm on a full frame. And the results of the autofocus test with the Sony A6500 were actually really good as well, both in the test where my girlfriend walked towards the camera and when she walked from the side into the frame and then out of the frame. Now, there's no doubt about it that the cheaper price, lighter weight and smaller size make the Tamron a lot more appealing option for most filmmakers and photographers. The Tamron weighs 815 grams, the height is 149mm, and at the moment it costs around $1,199. Whereas its closest competitor, in my opinion, the Sony A7III f4 weighs 840 grams, the height is 175mm, and at the moment it costs around $1,498, which is a pretty significant difference to the Tamron version. And because the lens has a fast aperture of f2.8, which lets a lot of light into the sensor, it's great in low light, and it also gives you this ability to get these very shallow depth of field shots where a small part of the image is in focus and the rest of the image is blurry. And you also get these cool shots where you have this nice background blur. Now, even though I really like this Tamron lens, let's talk about some of the things that I don't like about the lens. The first thing is that because the focus ring is focused by wire, that basically means that the focus ring spins infinitely, which makes focus pulling and getting smooth focus pulls a lot more difficult. On the other hand, it has a little bit of resistance in the focus ring, which helps a little bit, so it's not a deal breaker for me, but it's something I wish they would have done a little bit better. And the other thing is that because it's not an internal zoom, that means that when you zoom the lens, it extends and makes the lens longer. And this is a little bit challenging when you're filming on a gimbal, because if you've balanced the gimbal when the gimbal is not zoomed out, you might have to rebalance the gimbal after you zoom it out because the balance might be a little bit off. But none of those are deal breakers for me because I really like the lens, and comparing it to the price and everything you get with the price, it's a really fantastic lens. So my conclusion is that if you're on a budget and you want to get the best bang for your buck, just get the Tamron 70-180 f2.8 because that will give you the best return on investment. And if you're not on a budget, just get the Sony's G Master 70-200 f2.8 because that will give you the best quality. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more reviews or learn more about filmmaking, subscribe to my channel and click the bell notification so you won't miss out on any of my new videos when I upload a new video every Monday and every Friday. Also, if you want to see more, watch this video over here or this video over here because I really think you're gonna enjoy it. Okay, thanks for watching and see you again on Monday. Take care.